Hi, okay, so this is my monthly live show for patrons who pledge $5 or more per video, or as little as $5 a month. And I wanted this show to be a little different, where instead of me kind of talking at everybody, I want it to be more like a group conversation, so that everybody, it's a more interactive and personal experience. Because these shows are for the patrons. I focus a lot on the recording later of what's going to be interesting because they're there to see me, not necessarily the other people in the show. But these shows are for my patrons, so I'm going to make it more personal, and I have 100 questions for us to get to know each other better. So hopefully that'll be good. There's one person who isn't able to see the chat because they're on their phone, so I'll be trying to read out loud the chat as much as possible. So, but before anything, I have my prizes as usual, nice little goodies. So the first prize is I have these stickers. As always, I have plenty of stickers to give away. And so here's one of them. It says left side, right side, like that. And I have another one that is ear to ear. And then I have another one which is my little brain logo thing. So that is going to be given to a random drawing giveaway thing. The second one I have is I'm going to be doing a signed printed selfie that I'll mail to you personally. So this is the little printer I have. It's not sponsored, I just love it. The pictures are 2x3, so they're about this size right here. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. It'll be signed and mailed to you. So first thing is I want to get that out of the way so we don't run out of time. So anybody who wants to be in the random drawing for the stickers, just let me know right now. Just say like me or something, and I'll write out everybody's names and do the giveaway. So yes, okay. So I'm gonna put thumbs up person. James would also like to be in there. I'm gonna throw Andrew in there too because I'm sure that he would want to join as well, even though he can't type. You already have mine. Yeah, I think Angus already has all three of them, so it's okay if you don't want to join the drawing. Does anybody else here? I think that's everyone. It's Andrew, Angus, James, and thumbs up person, so there's just 3 people going. So let me just do that random drawing for you. Random number generator. Boom. So a number between 1 and 3, and then I'm gonna click it a few times and see what happens. And the winner of the sticker is thumbs up person. So congratulations, it's your first show, and you win something. Woo! That's also going to be mailed to you as well. That's going to be mailed. So do you know what sticker you want? And then you can just email me your address, and I will mail it to you. Do you know which one that you want? Thumbs up person? Yeah, you won! You won! You won the first prize. So you get to pick whichever one you want. Congratulations. You win. Do you know which one you want? You can also left side, right side. Cool. I will write that down. Left, right side. And then you can email me so I can get your address and everything, and I'll type out my address here. Well, my email address. You'll just send me an email with that, with your address, and I'll get it sorted for you, and I'll send that today. So I hope you like that. It also comes with like a little note in a little greeting card thing that I write out for everybody. So hope you enjoy that. So okay, now we're going to do the printed selfie. So Angus, do you want to be included in that drawing? Oh, cool. Okay, so I'll do that. And thumbs up person, you want to be there too. So I'm between 1 and 4 this time. Oh. Andrew, you win a printed selfie. Did you you've already won something mailed to you? Was it a sticker last time? Or was it something else? Was it the selfie? Oh right, Andrew can't speak. Why am I waiting for Andrew to say something when he cannot type? Okay, so What is wrong with me? Okay, so Andrew, you won. I'm gonna type that you won a printed selfie. I already have your address. Live show prizes. Save. Cool. So now I'm going to move on to the questions. So unfortunately, Andrew can't tell us about himself, and we're all going to miss out on a deeply wonderful conversation. But for the rest of us, yeah. All right. So I'm going to answer the question, and then everybody else will answer the question, so we can get to know each other more personally. So, number 1, who is your hero? My hero? I don't know that I have a hero. I think that I never really had a lot of role models growing up, and I feel like when people have celebrities as their role models, it's kind of romanticizing them a little bit because you don't really know them, so you can't really say you want to be like them. You can just say, you know, what you think they're like. But it's fine if a celebrity is your hero. But for me, I guess, I don't know. I never really had someone I was trying to emulate or anything. I'm not sure. So I don't know that I have a hero. Maybe I'm my own hero because of how hard I've worked to be where I am now. Maybe that's it. So Angus says that his granddad is his hero. That's good to know. Anybody else wanna join in on the conversation? And just let me know, and I'll wait for you. Thumbs up person says that their mom is their hero. That's cool. Anybody, you want to talk more about that, or you want to just say your mom? Hello, Bradley. Hello. You already missed the prizes, unfortunately. We already gave them away, but I'm glad to see you here. Bradley is a writer for ASMR You Ready, my ASMR website, so it's good to see you here. But, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, though, because you missed the prizes. I usually do those first. So, but now we're answering questions. We're getting to know each other. We're having a personal hangout. But yeah. Thumbs up person says that their mother is the most supportive person anybody could ever want. That's really sweet. That's good to know. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Bradley. Someone else was having problems too. Hopefully it works now. Call you Dawn. Okay, I'll call you Dawn. That works. James says maybe not a hero, but I look up to Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, since I'm interested in game design too. I feel like game design is really an industry that is just getting bigger and bigger and has so much opportunity. Like there's an unlimited amount of possibilities of what you can do and messages you can spread and stories you can tell with video games on a really, a really personal and wonderful level. I made a game. I did make a game. I don't know. It's a cute little game. It's not like the most perfect thing that I've made, but it's nice. It's called Florence, and it's about a girl who plays the flute, and she goes to a music school, and there's like her best friend who has a crush on her, and her dad never has shown up to her flute recitals, and so that's kind of where it starts, where somebody sabotages the kind of the show where everyone's going to have their own acts, and somebody sabotages the show, and so she has to go do some tasks to get the show in order before it's too late. So that's what that's about. It's mostly a story as opposed to like a mission or anything. It's more about the characters. So yeah, there's also a walkthrough. There's a link on my official Rebecca Smith Tumblr. There should be a link on that page, probably under the projects page. Yeah, Don says that it's his kind of game, story/RPG. That's the kind I like too, the story-based things. I do like RPGs, like as in like the ones where you fight. But I feel like with Pokemon being the exception, I kind of get bored of like repetitive, like especially the menu fighting systems. I'm a little more interested when it's on the map, but sometimes it can get boring. It just depends. I think that it comes and goes for me. Life is Strange. I played the first episode, and I think I have the other 4 because I wait for it. My brain will work in a second. I think that I bought them on the Steam Summer Sale. I just splurged like everybody else does on the Steam Summer Sale. But I haven't finished any of the other ones, but I really like that, and I've heard a lot of things, and I keep getting spoiled on Tumblr, but it's alright. It's alright. Bradley says that they love story-based games. Remember my video on Skyrim, do I still play? it's not that I don't like Skyrim anymore, it's kind of just like I'll get interested in Skyrim and then I'll play it every day for like 2 weeks, and then I'm like, alright, I burned myself out, and then I'll put it away for a while. So that's where I am right now, I've kind of put it away. But Chris, who is over here, off frame in this general area, just is in love with Skyrim all the time. All the time. He's played less. Right now he's playing Minecraft, but yeah, I introduced him. He's like, oh, you know, I've heard of it. It's kind of weird. And then I'm like, try it. It's wonderful. And now he's like, oh my god, this is the best game ever. So that was words that came out of there. Yeah. Another thing that I was going to say. I was going to say a thing. What was that thing that I was going to say? I don't. Oh, I remember now. It's kind of unfortunate that most like story-based games where you kind of explore the setting and the landscape and everything, and you get the story together. A lot of those tend to be horror RPGs. So it's like there was a time where I was able to play them and like not ruin my life with nightmares because I get really scared. I'm kind of scared of the dark sometimes because like shadows and everything, and I have a really active imagination when it comes to like if I'm creeped out at night. So sometimes I sleep with the light on if I've scared myself somehow. Like my number one fear when it comes to things that are in movies / things that'll never happen in real life but still make me think they're gonna happen is like when somebody who's just like standing still just appears out of nowhere, like fucking behind. Oh, I just swore. Sorry. Like just behind you, like in a mirror, or like they just appear at the end of a hallway or something. That is terrifying to me. Like the movie Donnie Darko was terrifying to me because of that rabbit just appearing out of nowhere, just standing like creepy little children with blood coming out of their eyes, just standing there at the end of a hallway. So my brain always likes to imagine that something creepy, like some creepy young girl has just appeared like in my room. One day when I have kids, that's probably going to happen to me. I'm probably going to get woken up by a kid just like standing in my room, and I'm going to scream, and that's how my children will hear their first swears. Oh my goodness. Literally, Bradley says it's literally them. Yeah, so that's what I'm scared of. Oh my goodness. Like, sometimes I have to have, like, I used to always crawl into my mom's bed until I got older. Do you guys want to hear, like, a story that happened to me, like, the night before Christmas and then Christmas morning? It's kind of sad because my pets died in a gruesome way, but do you want to hear the story? Because it involves nightmares and not being allowed to, yeah, it was pretty bad. So this is kind of a sad story, but okay, so it was like 2003, I think. I was like 11 or 10, and I had pet mice, and so I had the girl mice. I had like 3 of them, and my sister had a tank of boy mice, but she never took care of them, so eventually I just took them and put them in my room so I could take care of them. I wasn't also very good at taking care of them just because I was a kid and no one really taught me how to take care of them, but I did my best. I tried to clean out their cages, and I always kept them fed and everything, so they were happy. So I had a nightmare the night before Christmas, and it was weird. It was like I was in a flea market, and I was wearing a pink shirt, and this creepy old lady was trying to like buy the shirt off of me. She kept tugging on it, and she was like, I need this. And I was like, for some reason, this was like the scariest thing ever. And I woke up really scared, and I tried to like get into my parents' bed, and they're like, no, you're 11 or 10. That's probably what it said. You're 11 or 10, whoever you are. Like, go sleep in your own bed. And I'm like, and then I wake up, and I go to check on my mice, and the girls are fine, but the boys, I don't know what happened, but they all killed each other. They all just killed each other. There was nobody left. They just fought to the death. There was like guts and horrible things, and my parents laughed at me. They're like, oh yeah, you probably ate them in your sleep because you had a nightmare, and they just kept laughing at me, and I'm like, worst parents ever. That was my Christmas morning, so that was horrifying. Like, my parents are assholes, yeah, they are. This is truth. That happened to me. So, yeah, I'm fun at parties. It's pretty bad, yeah. So, never try to buy my pink shirt. It'll terrify me. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It's okay. That was a long time ago, so I'm not sad about it anymore. Mostly it's just my parents are assholes. So let's try a happy story. Let's move on. So how did we get from who is your hero to, wow, one time this happened. So, okay. Number 2. If you could live anywhere, where would it be? Where would it be? Let's transition from this horrifying thing that I just told you. I probably shouldn't have told that story. But you said. So, if you could live anywhere, where would you want to live? I'm not really sure. Like, my entire adult life has been in this apartment complex, in various apartments. So, I don't really know what adult life looks like beyond that, and I wouldn't really want to live in the states that I've lived in previously. I mean, I wouldn't mind here in this state, but I don't know. I haven't really found the place where I'm just like, this is where I belong. These are my people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Angus says that he would want to live near me. That's nice. Dawn says they're not sure. They've been stuck in Indiana forever. By the ocean, maybe. Yeah, I like the ocean. I grew up in Hawaii, so I'm used to like warm beaches with amazing sand that like spills from your hands and is magical, and you find turtles in there and stuff. And sometimes jellyfish. That happens too. Jellyfish gets stuck in your shirt. But I'm like spoiled when it comes to beaches. I remember I was like gonna get taken to a California beach, and I was like, oh my god, because I was like in LA for like a thing that happened, and I went there, and it's like the sand is kind of like mud, like it's just like all wet and flat and gross looking with like cigarette butts everywhere, and the water is cold. Like whenever you think of California, you're like California girls. The beaches are supposed to be warm, but they're not. It's cold water. And actually, there's a thing called the marine layer, which basically just like makes it look like smog, but everything is cold all the time. When you live close to a beach, everything is cold. It's the opposite of whatever beaches are supposed to be. So, yeah, that didn't happen. My life is full of disappointments. Living in Angus wants to live in his granddad's house. Yeah, I know how important that is to you. It's a nice house, too, as far as I know. James wants to live in some nice rural countryside area, but hopefully you have good internet, because sometimes places in the middle of nowhere don't have internet, so... Oh, gosh, Andrew left. I'm so insulted. It's probably just his internet connection. Angus says that my California Girls parody was the best parody ever. Thank you. So on to the next one. What is my biggest fear? I've already talked about some terrifying things, but if I was going to talk about, like, life fears, it would probably be, it'd probably be to be, like, utterly alone with nobody. That would be my biggest fear. Dawn says that's kind of where they like to live, in the middle of nowhere, but with gigabyte internet. Good. Bradley wants to go back to live in Bermuda. Did you used to live in Bermuda? That's cool. What's it like there? Is it terrifying? Do people disappear? Nice. The beaches are warm. Yeah. So I have lots of dreams about going back to Hawaii, and the first thing I do in every dream is like, I need to find a gas station so I can buy more candy that I miss because they don't have it here. It's always like, I want Lihing gummy worms. I want Lihing mango, the soft kind with lots of powder. Whenever I see chili mango at the stores, you know, like the mango slices, you know, that are dried and they have all the like red chili powder on them, I always look at them and think, I wish you were Lihing because it's also a red powder. But now I finally started actually letting myself eat chili mango. It's kind of an acquired taste. I didn't really like it at first, but the more I ate it, the more I'm like, wow, delicious. Sprouts has a really good chili mango. Angus says their biggest fear is turning into their parents. I don't think that's gonna happen. You're a super awesome person. For me, I think that I used to fear that too. That it's like, okay, so there's a lot of psychology that goes into raising children, like, you know, and things like that. And, you know, because it's a lot of things that happen in their early years are really going to develop who they become as a person. It's not that that's entirely who you're going to be. You still will have your own personality and your own self, but it does tend to influence a lot of things. It's not to say that it's permanent. You can move on from it, but, you know, being a parent means you kind of have to recognize that. And I feel like some of the most important qualities in a parent is to admit when they're wrong, to be able to sincerely apologize to their child when they do something wrong, when they made the wrong call, and to teach your children to be empathetic and to care about what other people are feeling, and that whenever they hurt somebody, if they grow up and they accidentally hurt people or whatever, to teach them to relate to others so they can understand. And that if they do something wrong, tell them why it's not okay. Don't just say, because I said so, because then they're not learning anything. That's why I don't really like spanking. Not only do I just don't want to hit children, but it's that it doesn't teach them a lesson. It teaches them to be afraid of you. It teaches them to be afraid of doing something wrong, but it doesn't really teach them why that particular thing is not okay. You know what I mean? I remember there was one time where I was just asking my dad why was I in trouble for something, and he's like, "'Cause you are," and I'm like, "It's fine. Like, I know that I'm in trouble. I accept that I'm going to be punished, but I just want to know why." And my dad thought that was just the most disrespectful thing ever. But it's like it's like me saying, "I'm pretty sure you're right. I've clearly done something, but I just want to know what am I supposed to be learning in this situation." But I didn't get that, and so I just learned to not do those things when my dad was home. So yeah. That's how I would say. So when it comes to that, I think a lot of people don't necessarily put a lot of thought into how they're going to be when they raise children, but as people, we learn from what we were exposed to, and when we become in a parent position, in a position of authority and a caretaker, the only time we've ever seen that done for us is with our parents, generally. So you're going to end up doing the same things that your parents did unless you make an active effort to behave differently. Otherwise, that's just going to what is coming out of you when you become a parent, or even just as an adult, even just as you grow. You're going to repeat a lot of things because children learn by observation. You can tell them to do one thing and do something different, and they're going to do what you're doing because they learn by mimicking, not by your words. So, yeah, that's what I would say. Because you can't tell your child, don't do what I say, not as I do, because children learn by mimicking. It's how they learn language. They repeat what they're hearing until they can speak full sentences. You can't just, you know what I mean? That's how I think that you should put a lot of thought into how you're going to be reacting to your kids, or even just if you don't have kids and you're just, as an adult, interacting with other people. You have to kind of take an honest look at what you're doing and figure out what you can do better. That's how I see it. And the way that I do that with, all the stuff that I've come from is I figure out if I'm doing something that's not a healthy behavior, I think, okay, where is this coming from? What is this a fear? Am I trying to get a need met? And I usually think about, okay, what's happened to me in the past, whether as a child or as an adult or anything? Where do I think this reaction is coming from? Where did I learn this? Or at the very least, what need am I trying to get met with this behavior? Because if I can figure that out, then I can figure out a healthy way to get that need met. If I don't know what I'm trying to get done, then I'm not going to know what to do differently. So that's a big part of my life, is trying to figure out how I can do better, how I can respond better to things, how I can learn healthy behaviors. Because I did not learn that growing up, so now I'm learning that now. I'm really thirsty. That was a lot of talking. So, this has been that. How did we get here? What is your favorite family vacation? I don't think we really went on vacations, but there was this one time where, after we moved to the mainland away from Hawaii, we could actually drive to see our extended family. And I just remember in the car, my mom was driving, my sister was in the front seat, and I was in the back next to the cooler. So I was next to all the snacks. So I was like, yeah, Cheez-Its, Cheez Whiz on crackers, Ritz chips are amazing. Sour cream and onion Ritz chips, everybody loves them. They're amazing. So I was buying all the snacks and all the drinks, and my mom was playing this 70s compilation CD that was great, and that's when we drove. So that's why I love junk food. It was pretty great. So they got to talk and they got to see where they were driving and everything, but I'd be in the back and they'd be like, yeah, I have Cheez-Its, hot and spicy Cheez-Its forever. Yeah. So, oh, someone was saying words. Let me go back. Bradley says their parents refuse to be wrong. Dawn says, well put. Angus says, exactly. I used to get spanked all the time and it does nothing but frighten you. Bradley says that their grandfather was super abusive to their mom, so she's kind of the same way sometimes. Angus says, I'm definitely right about what I was talking about. Bradley says the road trip sounds amazing. Angus says they didn't really go on road trips or vacations, but they had an awesome trip to London with their primary school. That's really cool. That's really nice. I did something in 6th grade that was about that because in Hawaii, elementary school ends at 6th grade and not 5th grade, and then middle school is just 7 and 8. So in 6th grade, that's when you get your elementary graduation thing. you do. James said they've been to Turkey once and it was nice there. And Don says Outer Banks, is that North Carolina? Right on the beach, no question. There was this, anyway, the thing for 6th grade, you had to, like, parents had to pay for it, and I remember it was a big deal because I didn't always get to go on, like, the big things, like, you go to an aquarium and we all nap in the aquarium and it's a big sleepover, and I couldn't go because we couldn't afford it, but I could go to this one, and it was amazing. What happened is we basically all got on a bus and we were staying in this nice hotel, and we got to have big, amazing feasts that we had, and I think there was, like, that's what I remember most was the feast. And then we also got to see dolphins, I think, as well. We got to go hang out with some dolphins and learn things. That's what I remember the most, is that it was also the first time I ever was, like, surrounded by people in my school. And like I said, I wasn't really being taken care of that much growing up, so I never really learned, like, hygiene, like, for the longest time, because, like, my mom wasn't really, like, paying attention. So, what ended up happening is, like, everybody else, like, I think I did shower, but I didn't necessarily shower well enough, because we'd all gotten these stamps on our arms, and I was the only one who still had part of my stamp still showing, and everyone made fun of me. But, you know, it's like, I can only know what I'm taught, but now I'm better. I figured that out. Bradley says they went on a trip to Portugal and Spain this summer, and that was really cool. That does sound cool. Sounds nice. What would you change about yourself if you could? What would I change about myself? Well, I really don't know that I would change anything. I mean, I can always do better. Sometimes I do still have, like, emotional outbursts that I'd like to deal with better. And I still, you know, I mean, we never really stop having things to better ourselves on, but I think I've gotten to the point where I like myself a good amount, and I'm more confident, and I know who I am now. I know who I am, and I know what good I do, and I know what I have to work on. So I mean, I guess in anything, it'd be bettering myself, but I think it's less about changing who I am or a big significant trait about me, mentally or physically, and more about just continuing on my journey that I'm doing. So, yeah. Bradley asks, or says that it's a good question and everything. Andrew, since I know you can't talk or type, you should just think, you should just live the questions. You can do it. Alright, so does anybody, I imagine this has more typing to do, so I'll wait and see what your answers are and everything. No one say anything, so she has to try awkwardly filling time. This happens all the time. It's just like, let's see. James like, sorry, I missed the question. What was it? The question was, what would you change about yourself if you could? I would take the question, like, mentally, but you can do it physically if you want. And do whatever comes to your heart. Whatever comes. Angus says, I would change a lot. I would change how emotionally fragile I can be and change how little I think about myself. James says, oh god, I should get started on this topic. And Don says, I'd read more if I could keep my eyes still, because they're jumpy. Yeah, there's a program, like an extension for Chrome, I think, possibly for Firefox too, probably. I don't remember what it's called, I can look it up. But basically it changes all the text to kind of like blend into kind of like a rainbow gradient, and it actually helps your eyes stay on the line, and it actually helps you read faster. Like, even if you can already read normally, it helps you do that. Is Spritz the thing that I'm talking about? Is that the name of what I'm describing? It might be. Yeah. That's fine. That works. There's also, I think there's also a program for like dyslexia where it changes everything to like a specific font that's really good. Did you know that Comic Sans is actually really good for people with dyslexia? Like, you know, the way it is just helps people differentiate letters a lot better. Bradley says it wouldn't really change much because I don't know how it would affect me for better or worse. That's true. I don't really have like, I'm not like aggressively upset about Comic Sans. Mostly I just see it as kind of like, I just read everything in a joke voice because it's always used for like ironic memes and things. It's always used on that, so I just read it as like a dorky voice now. It's like a font that means something. Teachers hate Comic Sans. Well, it depends on the teacher. I'm pretty sure that, like, unless you're like a graphic designer typography teacher, then you might not like it. But if you're any other teacher, you probably use it all the time. And you're like, here's your science homework, children, and it's covered in Comic Sans. So I would say most teachers probably enjoy Comic Sans. They probably think it's fun. So Chris is over there really intense. He's like, on Minecraft. Bradley says, well, they use it all the time, but when I use it, they hate. I mean, they probably wouldn't like an essay turned in. You're like, here's your 5-page essay, professor. It's all in Comic Sans, in caps. There we go. 26-point font triple spaced. Yes. In crayon colors. Yeah, it's just... Truly. Alright. What's the next question? What really makes you angry? Well, you know, like racism, homophobia, fatphobia, ableism, transphobia, just everything. That makes me angry. Other than that, on the more like general sense, superiority complexes make me really irritated. Like, I feel like, and it doesn't matter what it is, even if I like agree with whatever it is, like if I have the same interest, superiority complexes just really irritate me. Like people who think that they're legitimately better and just like criticize everybody and judge everybody and, you know, always feel like they're a better person and that they're above everybody and that they get to just feel like they don't, because I feel like people who do that don't really look at themselves and realize that everybody has stuff they can work on. If you already think that you're 100% perfect and that you're just as good as the way you are and everyone else is the problem, I feel like you're just never going to grow as a person. Like, there's a difference between, like, feeling good about yourself and feeling like, yeah, I'm doing a really great job, like, I'm like the expert in this one thing, but I guess there's a difference between that and literally, like, belittling other people and feeling like you're some sort of amazing, like, goddess or god or something. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there's also a difference between someone who's kind of like, oh, yes, I'm a goddess and I'm amazing as a confidence thing. I guess it depends on where it's coming from. There's a fine line, I think. You can totally be good with yourself and feel proud about yourself, but I feel like what specifically I'm talking about is people who never ever think that they're ever the one who's done anything wrong. They're never the ones who look inside themselves and realize it's always everybody else is always the one against them, and anything that they do in return is just a response. Do you know what I mean? Is that they're only responding. It's everybody else's problem. I wouldn't be this way if it weren't for everybody else. Do you know what I'm saying? That's something that really irritates me. Angus says definitely. Bradley says well said. I agree completely. John says they totally agree, and Bradley says that's their mom. Your mom. Yeah, I would say that's a lot of people that I know. A lot of people that I know, and I just can't stand that. I just cannot stand it. And again, it's not even like I think that I'm better than those people. I just wish that they would have a realization about the effects of their actions is all. So. We're learning lots of psychology and Becca stuff today. Aha! Anybody else have things that make you really angry? I mean, I'm sure everybody does. Except that one person. Always one. Man, my mouth is really dry from all this talking. John says animal abusers. Yes. Yes, that makes me really angry. Gosh, like sometimes you just read things that, like a screenshot of things that people have said and done, and you see it, and it's just like, how do you live with yourself? Indeed. That's, yeah. James says, kind of what you said, all kinds of injustices. I agree. Obviously, since you're agreeing with me. I agree that you're agreeing with me about a thing that we agree about. Bradley says the same thing. Agreed. Everyone's agreeing. We're all very happy here about what makes us angry. Number 7, what motivates you to work hard? I think that I have often had a problem where even if I had a really good idea, I wouldn't really believe in myself to be able to take it all the way to completion. So I'd get really excited about it and do everything about it, and then I would just kind of like, oh, well, you know, I'm probably not going to be able to keep up with it. And I would kind of like create this problem, or I wouldn't work on things because I convinced myself that I wasn't capable of really completing projects. And so I just had everything unfinished, everything not working out, and there's still a couple of things that I need to do stuff on that, you know, needed to be done. But I think that I've gotten better at it. Like, for example, ASMR Ready just started as just a Tumblr thing where I wanted to share videos that I liked, ASMR videos and everything. And then I started getting some following, and it was really nice at first because people would ask me questions about ASMR and they would tell me their stories, and that's kind of how it started. And eventually I got the idea that I wanted to do, you know, interviews, and I wanted to do features, and I wanted to make it into something bigger and better. And it kind of started a little bit that way, and I realized that I wanted a new domain. And that's actually how I ended up meeting Chris, is that he was one of the people who originally helped me on the ASMR Ready Tumblr, and the only one who stuck around. Like everyone else who said they were going to help, and staff members and everything, just kind of disappeared and didn't really do anything. But Chris was the only one left, and I was like, hey, you want to be an admin with me? And he was like, all right. And then he was like, and it turned out he's like, oh yeah, I also do web and graphic design, and I'm amazing and everything. And I'm like, oh no. And that's now he lives here. But now I don't know. It's just like I get ideas and I go with them. Like there are lots of interviews and articles, and I have like a fully functional staff with like all these writers now, and it's just this is a really big deal to me. Whenever I mention it in a video, everyone's like, "You're just self-promoting," and it's kind of like this is like something that like is legitimately a huge part of my life. I work on this every single day for like hours a day, and I'm working on a new project now that my friends know about, and some people that I'm working with, some ASMR artists and people that I'm working with know about it, but I don't want to say anything about it because I also realize that when I tell everybody about all my plans and everything, I get so excited and I get all the feedback of how great the idea is, and then I kind of just like, I become less motivated to complete it. I think it's that I don't want to disappoint people or that I feel pressured, so now, even with videos, I don't even say what kind of video I'm going to make until I've already filmed it and I'm already editing it, because I just get this weird mental problem when it comes to like saying my plans before I do them. I find it, for some people, it helps motivate them because they're held accountable. Like if they say, I'm going to go to the gym, and then everyone on Twitter's like, did you go to the gym? And everything, and they feel motivated for that. But for me, I feel better when it's like, it's just with me, and then when it's done, I can present it and everyone can see. And everything. Dawn agrees that they do that. Bradley says, I get that feeling. When people expect things of me, I tend to do worse. And then Dawn says, I saw something about when people tell others about their plans, they tend to lose motivation because they kind of got it off their chest in a recent article. Yeah, I've seen that too, where they get all this good response and they're like, oh yes, I feel good. And they feel good as if, so they already got the kind of praise as if they had done it already, and they don't really feel the need to go to get more praise and motivation because they've already received it. They've already gotten what they wanted and everything. They kind of got the idea and they got the positive feedback, and then you don't need to go from there. So to go back to what motivates me to work hard, I think it's that, well, there's kind of like two ways. One is I think about how great something is going to be, and I want it to exist, and I'm way better now at completing projects and really doing all the work needed to do instead of kind of overwhelming myself and everything. And there's some ideas that I've had that I cannot make yet because I don't actually have the skills and I need help from other people who have the skills to create something. So there's that, is wanting things that are going to be good and really wanting to put the work in and knowing that it'll be fun and that I'll be passionate about it, because if I'm not passionate about something, if I don't want to do something, it's just like, okay. And I feel like the other motivator is to like avoid feeling bad that I didn't do it, is another thing. That's kind of the other half, where it's like, I know I have homework to do, and I should probably just get it done, otherwise I'm just going to be anxious all the time, and I don't want that. Or if I don't do the homework, it's like, if I don't do the homework, bad things are going to happen. But it's like, it used to be a lot more about anxiety, and now it's less about actually being anxious and more about, like, I know that this is not going to be good for me, and it's not going to make me feel good if I put this off. So it's like, I used to have a really bad insomnia problem where I just couldn't sleep. I just couldn't do it. I would just be awake for like 37 hours, and I'd be up all night, And I didn't really care too much about it because I wasn't in school at the time, and I didn't have, a job at the time, and I would just, it didn't really matter when I was awake because I had friends all over the world, so there's always someone to talk to and always stuff to do. And I was really creative, so I felt like, oh yes, everything's better at night. But um, so what happened though is I ended up getting stuck in a nocturnal sleep cycle for like 3 months straight, and I would try so hard to break it because it was starting to get kind of depressing. And so, but what happened though is if I woke up at a good time, I'd find it impossible to sleep that night, so I'd still be up forever. If I went to bed at a good time, I'd be so exhausted for some reason I wouldn't be able to wake myself up on time in the morning, so I'd still sleep for too long. And then on the days where I got enough sleep and I woke up at a good time, by that time, the sun made me tired. I'd be awake feeling at night, and when the sun was out and it was daytime, every single second I'm like constantly trying to keep my eyes open like this, and so I would eventually just fall asleep because it was too difficult. And so finally I decided to really look into it because I was getting very depressed being in the dark all the time. I can't go to stores or anything or do anything because they're always closed, alone and everything, and it's just depressing, so what happened was I finally looked into it and I found this thing called sleep hygiene, which basically are different habits that you build for yourself in the hours before sleep to help you wind down. So some things that really helped me is that when it was really bad, I would start 3 hours before I wanted to go to bed. So if I wanted to be in bed by 10, I would start at 7 o'clock. And I would slowly kind of wind down where I would dim the lights, not off and not on. If it's off, the screen's going to be really bright and everything. So you dim your computer, you dim the lights so that they're, again, like medium light, like throw a scarf over your light as long as it's the kind that's not going to catch on fire. Like, be safe. And I had a train of thought somewhere. Wait for it. Right. So I have a program called Flux that basically it syncs with where the sun sets in your zip code. And it will then like dim a little bit and turn everything kind of like a warm orangey color because it kind of imitates sunset, which we're naturally more going to be tired from and everything. And then in the morning it actually makes things kind of like a slightly lighter blue color to make you wake up. Which, if you think about it, a lot of social media, especially Tumblr, has like a lot of blue everywhere. So there is that. So there was that. Dimming lights, lowering screens, in general, trying to transition into less screens, especially as I get closer. I completely stopped drinking all caffeine. I didn't really drink caffeine to stay awake. In fact, I would actively try not to drink caffeine if I was tired because I didn't want to become dependent on it for anything. It just happened to be in the things I'm drinking, and I'm like drinking an Arizona tea, and I'm like, oh, why am I tired? Why can't I sleep? So I used to pretend that caffeine didn't affect me. I feel like a lot of people do that, where they pretend caffeine doesn't affect them because it's not making them wired or anything, but because you just feel normal. You can't sleep because you just don't feel tired, but you don't think about how it's from the caffeine because you're not feeling like all buzzed and freaking out or anything. You just feel normal, but you're not tired, so you can't sleep. But a lot of people pretend caffeine doesn't affect them, but they don't realize like that's why you have insomnia because you only drink Mountain Dew. There is that. So another thing is that it's better for your body to be slightly cool rather than slightly warm. You're more likely to fall asleep when your body's slightly cool. Warm showers can make you tired, but then once you get out, you're probably going to be awake for longer because your body then has to cool you down. So that was another thing. I would usually transition away from screens, like I said, so I would, switch to reading a book or switch to just kind of chilling or writing in a journal. Writing in a journal was really good because I get my thoughts out, and it helps kind of, because I can get the thoughts out, they're not like in my head keeping me wired. And everything, and also to try to just forget about how late it is. Like if it starts getting later, just do not look at the clock because it's just going to make you more anxious. There's a thing, I think it's called sleep anxiety, where you become so anxious about not being able to fall asleep on time and not getting enough sleep that the anxiety keeps you awake, and I had that too, and I had to slowly kind of just like train myself to let go and not think about that and everything. So there was that. Again, stop drinking any caffeine entirely. If you still want to drink caffeine, I would suggest not drinking it like 4 hours before you want to go to sleep or anything because I was actually taking a class on like how drugs work and everything, and caffeine is a drug. And basically, a cup of coffee takes 6 hours to get to your the half-life of the caffeine in coffee is 6 hours, so it takes 6 hours of the caffeine to be eliminated by your body. So it's not necessarily that you're going to be up for 12 hours after coffee, but I would, something like that. But I would avoid caffeine several hours before bed. Like, I would say 4 hours, don't drink caffeine past then, or you're just going to be awake. Also, try not to listen to fast or aggressive music. Don't really watch. I mean, some people can fall asleep with the TV, but for me, I needed to take complete like extremes to fall asleep at the time. So no like exciting movies or exciting video games or music. Again, this is if like hardcore you need to try and do something about this horrible problem. And so now though, now I've gone to the point where I'm a lot better about it. So there are some nights where I mess up and I end up doing stuff too late and I end up being wired and can't sleep. But I've gone to the point now where okay, so just to get paid at the story before when I had to do the 3-hour like extreme session. Also, incense or scented candles are good too. But eventually got to the point that with the 3-hour wind down, finally, when I finally closed my eyes to sleep, I would just be out. It would be good. I would instantly be able to sleep, which I always had a problem with. And now, I don't really need to do that. I still don't drink caffeine. I still try not to be too, up and active and everything before bed, but it's gotten to the point where I have a healthy sleep cycle, so I don't need to do that. I can be listening to things and doing stuff before bed. Sometimes it keeps me up a little later. It depends. I still have to be kind of careful, but now I can just go to sleep within, some time. Sometimes it takes longer, but there's some skills that helped me. Bradley says it happens to him all the time. Dawn says, shamelessly plugging my ASMR videos. They help with my insomnia. I'm sure I'm not alone. My doctor finds that to be a great idea too. And Angus and Bradley said yes too. Yeah, I listen to ASMR for sleep too sometimes. There are a lot of times where sometimes ASMR isn't being tingly for me or it's not working and it's too stimulating. So there's this other video that I use which is called it's a binaural beats video, which if you know what those are, they're basically just like sound waves that are supposed to kind of affect your brain patterns or whatever. And but there's one called Hypersleep that I listen to. Like the picture is just like I think it's like the moon or something like that, like the top, like the surface of it, and it helps me. So it's still something to like it helps me a lot if I have earphones in or if I have something in my ears. Otherwise, like I feel like hyper aware of sound. So it helps me sleep if I feel like my ears are covered. Like if I'm lying down and this ear is covered and then this one is, I find that helps me sleep better personally. But yeah, the Hypersleep one is the one that I use. I think if you type Hypersleep binaural beats into YouTube, it's like the 3rd or 4th one down. That helps me too, because it gives my brain to fill up my brain or whatever, so that I'm not like constantly thinking about things enough but it's also not like stimulating and interesting enough that I end up focusing on what's being said. So yeah, Don says binaural beats work with them as well sometimes. They listen to that one, I'm sure. But yeah, wow, it's already 2:47. We only have 13 minutes left. I hope everyone's having a good time. So next one is, what is your favorite thing about your career? So this is my career. Pretty much the way that I see my job is split into 2 things. It is the ASMR videos and what comes along with that, like these shows, and the other is ASMR Ready. I feel like I have so much more time devoted to ASMR Ready just because it just takes more time. Overall, has a lot more like regular maintenance and everything. And I feel like I have a lot of passion about that. And I'm passionate about ASMR videos too. My job is really fun, so my favorite part I think is just that I'm allowed to be creative in so many ways. And at the same time, I feel like I do help some people. Some people at the very least, and I like that too. I like being able to take my experiences and my knowledge of how some things work and be able to turn that into something that might be able to help people and to say things to people that I really wish that I had heard sooner in my life. And Bradley says not enough time. Or not enough time, XD. Angus says I definitely help people. I hope so. Bradley says, I was bored, so I was looking through some of my really old videos, like before I did ASMR, and you said you wanted to do something big that would change people, and I think that we can all agree that you're succeeding pretty well at that. Thank you. And James says, if I could get someone to hire me, I'd have an answer. No. What's funny is that there's like a website you can go to look back at your first tweet, because like if you've been tweeting for like several years, there's no way you can scroll forever. My very first tweet was, I wonder if anybody will ever care what I have to say. Take that, Dad. Boom. Yeah, and someone said have to agree with Bradley, and then Bradley says, damn. But yeah, that was my first tweet. So my dad thinks that YouTubers are really narcissistic, that anybody will ever care what they have to say. That was weird. This ear just went deaf, and now it's ringing. That happens sometimes. Clearly I'm dying. And wow, that's weird. Sometimes half my body goes numb, so hopefully I'm not dying. That'd be nice if I wasn't dying. Wow, that was really weird. So words are happening probably. I was saying something about something. What was I talking about? I don't remember now. Remember what I was talking about?
Something about his sleep hygiene.
That was a little bit ago. Oh, about my dad. Yeah, my dad thinks that YouTubers are narcissistic because why would anybody care what anybody has to say? And it's kind of like, I feel like it's kind of a baby boomer thing where you should devote your life to a company and not to your actual like goals in life, and that like you're not important and you're not special. Just get a real job and things like that. But I don't know. I really don't. I feel like he's just offended by the idea that people do care about what other people have to say. And it's kind of like, Dad, just because you don't care what you have to say doesn't mean people don't care what anyone else has to say. Does my dad still think that? I don't know. I don't talk to my dad. But yeah, no, I know that. He told me that like several years ago, but I haven't talked to him in like 2 years. So there is that. So there is that. Yeah, my 100K subs is a big middle finger to my dad. Yeah, every time I just think about it, it's like, Dad, you always made fun of my rambling. You always made me feel bad for fidgeting, which now, tapping, rambling, it's like, you always thought that I talked too much. Again, now it's my job. People also, my job is entirely based on the fact that people like what I have to say and like what I do. So it's just like, everything, all of this together, and I'm just like, take that, Dad! Damn right. Yeah. So, plus I'm happy. So that's for the most important thing. I'm happy with my life, and I've done things with my life. That's nice. Yeah, Bradley says he doubts that my dad has 100,000 people who smile every time he does his job. Probably not. My dad doesn't even smile when he does his job. This has become a really personal live show. This is happening. So much to learn about Becca. Do people always ask me to do a draw my life, and I'm just like, you do not know what it is that you're asking for. It would not be a fun video, I promise you. But this is a real smile. I'm not just like, I'm so dead inside. Huh. No, I'm actually legitimately happy now. I've reached a point in my life where for several months now I've been really good, and I haven't really been getting depressed very much. So that's been good. Yeah, I've been really happy. And I like seeing that there's a lot of comments and messages I get about people saying that I look a lot more happy in general, especially when you compare my me now to my first ASMR videos and even some of my old vlogs. It's like in my old vlogs, like even if I'm talking and everything, I just look like kind of a little bit dead inside. But now it's like just naturally talking, I feel like my personality is just kind of like comes out through my face and stuff. So there's that. I think we have time for one more question. What was the last movie that you went to, and what did you think? The last movie I saw in theaters, I think it was Jurassic World. It was the cheesiest movie ever, and it was amazing. Like, I usually have some complaints about like the way certain characters are treated or the way that like women are portrayed and whatever, but I liked that. I liked how there weren't like gross comments and things. I think that I liked the ending. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but I was just like, it's like there's a thing in writing where there's a thing called the inevitable ending, or even if you want it to go a certain way, as you write the story and you realize as the story takes its own life, you realize there is an ending that has to happen, even if it means a character dies or anything like that. But it's like that ending, it was the inevitable ending. It was ridiculous in a great way. It's like it happens and you're like, are you kidding me? And then you're just like, but it couldn't happen any other way. That's how I feel about that. The movie was so love the ending. It was much more a fitting sequel than 2 or 3. Yeah. I like how they're just like, hey, you know how in Jurassic Park when that exists, people died? It won't happen this time. Let's do it again. Like, let's literally, it's not even like It's not even like a complete reboot where they just start from the beginning with Jurassic Park and everything. No, they mention Jurassic Park as past event. That happens, and they're just like, let's just try again. It'll be better this time. We know more now. Like, all right, that's history repeats itself. Like, man. Yeah. So 5 more minutes, and that happens. What did I want to be when I was small? Oh, wait. You guys didn't tell me about your movies. What was the last movie you went to? You ever notice that when you go to see a movie, you go to the theater, but when you're going to watch a movie, you're watching it at home? And Bradley says, because nobody ever learns from their mistakes in that movie verse. It's true. And then Dawn says, Poltergeist. I don't watch scary movies. I can't. I get way too scared. Like, really scared. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Sometimes it's even just like, I'll be watching Hannibal, and sometimes Hannibal is too much for me. Sometimes I'm just like, I like cover my eyes, and I'm like, tell me when it's over. I don't want to see the horrifying things. And Chris is like, just think about, like, movie effects. Like, it's all just, like, plastic and fake blood. Like, it's all fine. Like, it helps me get through scary movies, just imagining everybody laughing on the set. And I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't.
I don't know if no comedy now to see it today.
Mm-hmm. Don says they love scary movies. Bradley says they're fun when I watch them with someone else. And Don says he falls asleep to Jaws all the time. So we have a badass over here. And Angus says they're having problems right now. And okay. Alright, that's fine. The show's over in 4 minutes anyway. Angus, I hope you had a good time. And I'll talk to you. Oh, he's gone. Never mind. He can't hear what I have to say. Okay. Well, I hope he's okay. I'll talk to him after the show. But yeah, 3 more minutes left and everything. So I was about to say a thing. Jaws. Did you know that the people who wrote Jaws are like horrified at like the effects of it? Like, for example, people are really scared of sharks, and there's like a huge like kind of like massacre of sharks in general. Like people like are constantly killing sharks because they consider them so dangerous, and there's all this fear and all these problems now. And like the people who wrote Jaws are like so horrified at the effects of their movie that they actually like. I'm pretty sure they have like a charity or some sort of like group that they started to help like save sharks and everything. Yeah, it backfired and everything. Oh my goodness, there's a clip on Tumblr that I saw that was a clip from like an Australian news show where they have a video of a shark that was found, and people it was saying like, you know, new technology helps scientists get closer to sharks than ever, and there's this shark. It is like the megalodon is around. Like it was huge, and it just cuts back to the news people, and they're just like that, and they're like, did you see the size of that thing? And she was like, stuff summer. She's like, I'm never getting in the water. And he's like, I'm going to get in a pool. That'll work better. And everything. So, that's good. Bradley says my accent was perfect. And Don also says my accent was pretty good. And Don says it was a 30-foot shark. I'm not sure. I just remember them going like this. And just cutting back and forth and everything. So, that's pretty good. Are you guys from Australia? Is that a thing? Do you know? So are you just saying, like, in general my accent was good, or do you know? And all of that. Oh, Andrew isn't here. I just realized Andrew has been gone for a little bit. So, he really was good. That's cool. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Australian ASMR video. Do it. It was good. Yeah. Alright, so we only have a minute left. Let me see. We actually have like 30 seconds left. So I'm going to say my goodbyes. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and that it was more personal and chilling and you got to know a lot about me. So there you go. You learned how my pet died on Christmas. That was your favorite part, wasn't it? So yeah, I'm glad. And I learned some more about you guys, and we bonded. I think we bonded. Let me look into the webcam instead of looking at your text. We bonded. So yeah. We have, oh, and boom, 3 o'clock. Too bad you weren't here for the prizes. I'm sorry, Bradley. I'm sorry. I like doing them in the beginning so we don't run out of time, but maybe I should wait at some point so everyone can show up. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I hope that everybody enjoyed it, and anybody watching the recording, if you want to come and hang out next month, then you just need to be a $5 Patreon, so minimum $5 a month. And I'll see you next time. Bye.